Hello and welcome to France 24's daily culture show, Encore. We're starting with film, and the pandemic dealt a massive blow to the movie industry and to French cinema in particular. But there seems to be one exception: French science fiction films, which are increasingly well received by the public. Here's Laurent Bestecker.
Deserted during the pandemic, French theaters are now selling 30% fewer tickets than in 2019. But as the industry faces its most challenging crisis, one genre is looking healthier than ever: science fiction made in France. A Franco-Belgian-Lithuanian production, Vesper tells the story of a world where nature has become hostile and of a gifted young biologist's attempt to recreate what was lost.
She likes you.
With her garden, Vesper creates a bit of light and beauty in this horrible world. She changes these disgusting, ugly plants into beautiful flowers.
This will mix with the seed cells and change their DNA.
She spent her entire life in a post-apocalyptic world, and she wants to have a life bigger than the life she has.
With only a €5 million budget, Vesper is a perfect showcase of French cinematic know-how.
A lot of technical mastery was needed, and it was all done by 3 French digital effects companies. The music also played an essential role and was written by French composer Dan Levy. Music is crucial to a science fiction movie.
Pilgrims, drifters, bandits.
Despite a successful release, movies like Vesper still have a long way to go to catch up to their Hollywood rivals.
It's in their culture to have these crazy budgets, up to 80, 100, 150 million euros. But in France, when there's a big production costing 30, 40 or 50 million, it's an adaptation of The Three Musketeers or something pertaining to French popular culture.
Science fiction isn't generally considered part of French popular culture, but The Visitor from the Future could be the story to achieve that status. The no-budget web series has been turned into a comic book and a manga after it was seen 45 million times. The story of a man from the future trying to prevent a nuclear catastrophe has now been adapted to the big screen.
Notre mission est de protéger le cours du temps. Si on perd, tout le monde perd.
French science fiction is often very dark, very monotonous. It's quite depressing, and we wanted to show that you can make science fiction that's also entertaining and funny.
Après l'explosion de la centrale, les vents ont poussé les émanations radioactives vers l'océan Atlantique. Tout le monde s'est dit que ce serait le problème des Américains. Sauf qu'ils avaient oublié un facteur.
Lequel?
La Terre est ronde.
C'est con.
With these 2 films, French cinema has shown that the glory days of science fiction may still lie ahead.
Now, we regularly bring you the latest about what's on the big screen, but how about taking you into the big screen? Immersive cinema has come to Paris with a cult sci-fi favourite that will bring you all back. Hasta vista, baby. And it's one of several new interactive experiences on offer in France, as James Mulholland tells us.
Avec cette première expérience de cinéma immersif, hommage à Terminator 2, on a voulu brouiller la frontière entre la fiction et la réalité.
A new movie experience that allows viewers to become part of the cast of a cult film.
On fait la même taille?
Participants can explore science fiction future or the past, all from the dark depths of underground suburban Paris. The immersive experience brings the characters off the big screen and puts them among the spectators, who can relive famous scenes live and complete with special effects. It's somewhere between cinema and theatre.
La principale difficulté.
The main difficulty is being so close to the audience. Some people try to interact with you when you're in a really important moment. It's a challenge, but also a real pleasure.
C'est plus où la frontière entre les acteurs et le public.
J'ai vraiment retrouvé l'esprit du film.
The same can be found in escape games, where participants are immersed in a TV series.
Rajouter de la paranoïa dans l'équipe.
This one is based on a popular French series.
Chaque expérience.
There may be similarities between different groups, but it never happens in the same way, because everything depends on the relationship between the players and the actors.
When the scenario's ready, it's time to print off the access badge and time to become a secret agent.
Si vous avez des idées, des suggestions, qu'est-ce que vous faites?
On vous les soumet?
Vous les gardez pour vous, ça ne m'intéresse pas.
Maintenant, ça va être à vous.
There are cameos from the real actors of the TV series, and the decor is meticulously recreated.
À un moment donné, je me suis dit, qu'est-ce que je fais là? Je me suis dit, mais qu'est-ce que je vais devenir?
Ouais, il y avait mon poste, ma vie.
J'avais peur pour ma vie.
And in yet another world of immersion, participants themselves go into the screen. They're equipped with VR masks with computers strapped to their backs.
C'est hyper perturbant.
500 square meters of virtual reality, and there are 15 venues like this across France. For the man behind it all, it's just the beginning.
La technologie évolue tellement vite.
The technology is evolving so quickly. There are new masks about to come out that will show the movement of your hands and your body, even the expression on your face. This will mean an even more immersive experience.
The ultimate goal, in 15 or 20 years' time, is to produce artificial dreams. La carte.
Now to one of France's most esteemed literary figures. Marking the centenary of Marcel Proust's death, the National Library is holding an exhibition billed as Revealing the Writer's Last Secrets. Proust is considered one of the greatest writers of his generation, with masterpieces like In Search of Lost Time. Catherine Kadir-Clifford tells us more.
For a long time, I went to bed early. The opening words of Marcel Proust's 7-volume novel, In Search of Lost Time. This exhibition ushers visitors under the surface of the lofty literary figure's long, polished sentences to reveal a chaotic process.
Everyone knows this sentence, even without having read the novel. But we discovered that Proust experimented extensively before deciding on this very concise phrasing. So much of the morning, at the time when I was ill, etc., etc.
In Swan's Way, the author describes how the taste of Madeleine could summon the essence of his childhood. The Proust's Madeleine metaphor has since become a literary cliché. But in early drafts, the famous cakes began merely as stale bread, then toast, then biscuits, before taking their legendary form, to the delight of those visiting the exhibition.
All these pages that he came back to again and again, even once they were pre-printed, it was very interesting. I didn't know anything about his process.
Proust's work was constantly evolving. After the publication of his first volume, Swan's Way, in 1913, the author decided to integrate the First World War into the story by changing the setting.
After the war,
Marcel Proust asked to move the novel's setting from the Chartres area to close to Reims, to the front line, so as to incorporate the war into his manuscript.
These edits and extensions became meters-long fold-out paper trails glued into Proust's notebooks.
Je savais que c'était découpé, redécoupé,
I knew his writing was cut up and then cut up again, but I was bowled over to see it in real life. It's impressive.
C'est impressionnant.
Proust's manuscripts have become works of art, sought after by collectors, and very rarely offered up for public viewing.
Now, just before we go, the French artist Paul Cézanne is being celebrated in London at the Tate Modern. It's the first major UK show in a generation to show the painter's daring. We're going to leave you with that. Thanks for watching. There's more on our website and on social media. See you next time.
special events. Join us for in-depth coverage of the greatest sporting competition. Around the world, fans can barely contain their excitement. In Qatar, the launch is just around the corner. Adrenaline and emotions are sky high. Get World Cup fever on France 24 and France24.com.